Namaste everyone. Welcome to Prerna Spreading Inspiration. I'm प्रेरणा वासवानी और मैं हूँ फाउंडर इस पॉडकास्ट प्लेटफॉर्म। आज जो है बहुत ही डिफरेंट टॉपिक रहेगा हमारे साथ। ये एक ऐसा टॉपिक है जो सबके दिलों को टच करता है एंड सबके बहुत क्लोज्ड है। Today's topic is related to the relationships, parenting, emotional well-being, and the silent impact of our experiences on the way we love, connect, and communicate. उससे पहले मैं पूछना चाहूंगी कि हम लोग जो हैं, are we truly understanding relationships today, or simply reacting to the emotions, expectations, and digital pressures? तो ये जो है बहुत ही अनोखा टॉपिक है एंड प्लस इट्स ट्रेंडिंग टॉपिक आई कैन से। एंड इन द वर्ल्ड वी आर कनेक्टेड where many people are still emotionally distant, overwhelmed, and misunderstood. So somewhere between love, parenting, and social media and mental health, we are trying to find balance. So friends, आज हमारे साथ हैं एक amazing speaker and guest speaker मिस बंदिता रथ शर्मा एंड उनका मैं इंट्रोडक्शन देना चाहूंगी। बंदिता मैम इज कंसल्टेंट एंड काउंसलिंग साइकोलॉजिस्ट with specialized training in cognitive behavioral therapy, that is CBT, and dialectal behavioral therapy, that is DBT. Her work focuses on trauma focused counseling, relationship dynamics, ADHD, adolescence counseling, parenting, and emotional well being. So she is also a PhD scholar, and her research is centered around relationships, parenting, and the psychological impact of social media use. So through her clinical practice and research, she beautifully bridges evidence-based psychology with real-life human experiences and helping individuals and families build healthier ways of thinking, relating, and living. So, welcome Bandita ma'am on our show, and we are truly happy to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. Yes, as you told, this is very important and the need of the hour that we talk about relationship. We talk about how modern relationship is navigating through the busy social media world.
Yes, yes. And friends, before we begin to this topic, I want to ask you something, or the many people who think about the psychologist. तो मैम मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी कि since you are a psychologist, do you never go through emotional struggles yourself, and do you never cry or feel emotionally overwhelmed? Because ये सबके मन में बहुत थॉट्स रहता है कि अगर साइकोलॉजिस्ट है तो उनको जो है ना रोना आना चाहिए ना फिर कुछ इमोशनल स्ट्रगल होना चाहिए। तो मैम योर इनसाइट्स प्लीज।
Thank you for asking that actually. Matlab, I would like be a spokesperson for many psychologists. Probably they also face this question every day. कि आपको तो फील नहीं होता होगा बट आई वुड लाइक टू से कि बिफोर बिकमिंग अ साइकोलॉजिस्ट वी आर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स एंड वी फेस एवरीथिंग sadness happiness grief loss trauma everything but the only difference is not about like how we are facing or we are not facing we also face equally but it's all about how we navigate through it like how we deal with it and how resilience is also equally important at that point of time how much of attention that takes in our life so somewhere like how we deal with it is something different we process that acknowledge that and then get over that which is resilience so that is how it makes little bit of difference not that we don't feel we feel that.
Yes, wonderfully explained. Because I can also feel कि जो भी साइकोलॉजिस्ट हैं they are also human beings. तो उनके अंदर भी इमोशंस हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो साइकोलॉजिस्ट बन गए हैं तो उनके अंदर इमोशंस नहीं रहता है एंड दे कैन कंट्रोल देयर लाइव्स। बट यस, उनके अंदर जो है एक स्ट्रॉन्ग पावर रहता है, उनके अंदर स्ट्रॉन्ग नॉलेज अवेयरनेस है जिसकी वजह से वो जो है सिचुएशंस डिफरेंटली टैकल कर पाते हैं। So
Exactly.
I would like to understand कि in the simple terms आप जो है कैसे बताएंगे कि how do you define healthy relationship today?
ओके। जब हम हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप की बात कर रहे हैं, देयर इज नॉट अ फिक्स्ड डेफिनेशन कि हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप ना शुड बी ऑलवेज हैप्पी डेज, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स नहीं होना चाहिए। बट नन ऑफ द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ और फिर जो डिफरेंसेस रहते हैं, दैट शुड नॉट बी बिगर देन द रिलेशनशिप। It happens within relationship. That doesn't mean that every healthy relationship is like, somewhat कि उसमें कोई conflict नहीं है, all the happy days are there. हमारे healthy relationship में there should be mutual respect, which I feel which is very important also. Many will agree with me. Mutual respect is very important. Consistency, trust, uh, emotional intimacy, as well as other forms of intimacy. And somewhere that emotional maturity is also an important factor. There are many other, but these are few which are like important components of a healthy relationship. And when
Yes,
I talk about respect हो गया, या फिर if I am talking about when we are talking about any relationship, nothing is a fixed definition कि मेरे लिए ये respect है तो किसी और के लिए the respect, definition of respect may be something else. So we can just understand each other. There should be understanding of each other's feeling, emotions. There should be understanding of each other's like pattern of communication. Commitment hona chahiye. There should be trust. So
yes,
these are
right,
few things जो कि बहुत एक रिलेशनशिप को एक स्पेशल भी बनाता है और यूनिक भी बनाता है.
correct, correct. एंड वंडरफुली एक्सप्लेन मैम कि यस बहुत ही सिंपल वे में आपने बताया है कि व्हाट कैसा हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप होना चाहिए. मेन थिंग इज रिस्पेक्ट एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग, दैट आई आल्सो ट्रूली एग्री. एंड यस जो ऑडियंस देख रहे हैं या फिर जो रिकॉर्डिंग देखेंगे तो डेफिनेटली दे वुड आल्सो कनेक्ट विद दैट कि एंड उन्हें भी ये जो है पता चल पा रहा होगा कि व्हाट इज हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप. एंड आई कैन से कि हर एक के लिए हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप का मीनिंग जो है या डेफिनेशन जो है इट वुड बी डिफरेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू दी फैमिली बैकग्राउंड एंड एनीथिंग. तो मैम जैसे आप रिसर्च कर रहे हैं ऑन दिस वंडरफुल टॉपिक, बिकॉज ये जो है आजकल कोई इतना ज्यादा ओपनली नहीं बोलता है. So
हाँ.
from your research and experience, so why do modern relationships feel more complex compared to the earlier generation? Because आजकल के ज्यादातर देखा गया है कि ये आजकल के जो relationships हैं, they are feeling like a more complex and complicated. और पहले के जो जमाना होता था, पहले इतना कुछ नहीं देखा जाता था. So your insights, please.
हाँ, लाइक हम अगर पहले वाले जनरेशन की बात करते हैं या फिर लाइक आज के जनरेशन, सो हम लोग क्या कर देते हैं, तो थोड़ा सा बहुत ज्यादा अभी लेवलिंग भी हो रहा है कि ये जनरेशन ऐसा है, पहले वाला जनरेशन ऐसा था. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दैट एवरी जनरेशन हैज इट्स ओन हेल्दी हेल्दी बिहेवियर एंड अनहेल्दी बिहेवियर. दैट इज वन थिंग. हर जनरेशन का एक यूनिकनेस भी है, हर जनरेशन का कुछ ना कुछ नेगेटिव थिंग्स भी है. Abhi, now in this generation what is happening, like I would say there are two sides of a coin. Like it is also like that ki current day people, or like people those who are in any relationship, I would say rather, ki they are more self aware. They know from where this feeling of uncomfortable thing is coming. Previously it was more of like gender based or role based, like a woman will do this thing, a woman has to go through this thing, these things. Women cannot say few things like, okay, I like this or I don't like this. But nowadays the generation on that part positively, it has improved, or we sorry, it has, like we can say ki it is more self aware. They know what is hurting in a relationship, and they know few things like these are not unhealthy and these are not healthy. Everything that segregation of feelings, as well as हम जब बोलते हैं कि आजकल ऐसा नहीं चलता है. So because nowadays people are more aware about their their identity, their individuality, and which in a way is healthy. But When it becomes unhealthy, when that becomes goes to that extent that people start using that as a reason for parting away from each other. Ki I am this, I will remain this forever. So if you want, you can adjust. If you don't want, we can part our ways. So वो जब हो जाता है तो ये टॉक्सिक बन जाता है. So
Yes.
self awareness at a healthy form allows us to know about what we want and how we respond to the environment around us. Self awareness doesn't mean that we we become only self obsessed with ourselves and like we don't consider anyone else's feeling or emotions or personality traits or anything we say. So this is why aajkal ka relationship is little bit different, but it has both positive sides and negative sides as well, I would say. So
Yes.
it seems little complex kyunki when there is so much of labeling of emotions, we say conflict. There are a lot of people talking about bonding. This is that bonding. This is trauma bonding. This is this. So because of so many things are like now out on the surface, so it seems little complex, but it has both the sides.
Yes, rightly said, because कि हर एक चीज में देर आर टू साइड्स ऑफ कॉइन, कि हमें जो है ये भी देखना है कि यस उनके हिसाब से जो है अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू व्हाट आर देयर थॉट्स, वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट आल्सो.
हाँ.
एंड मैं ये भी जानना चाहूंगी कि आजकल जो है व्हाट आर पीपल टुडे रियली लुकिंग फॉर इन रिलेशनशिप्स दैट मे नॉट बी सीन or been important as before, according to you?
Like which was not important before, but nowadays people are seeing that. Okay.
Yes.
I would say people these days in relationship are not losing, not ready to lose themselves. So they are standing on their individuality and they talk about boundaries, they talk about bondings, they talk about healthy behavior, unhealthy behavior, but at the same time there are few things which takes this relationship to a sinking boat, because not these things but there are other things, like there are comparisons also. There are many other things which are like taking these relationship down, social media, we can say it's a big factor when we talk about relationship, because it has created an unrealistic standards for relationship, which we call it as a beautiful or a good relationship. There is nothing like good or bad, it's healthy or unhealthy. So, but social media may, like there are there are beauty standards which are somewhere unrealistic. There are healthy marriages standard which are like not always possible, because we are seeing that curated version always, which is we are constantly being exposed to that. So and
Yes.
not only this, but like on a individual level also, what I have seen through during my research also, people are finding it difficult to find their partners because they constantly see that beauty standards, or we talk about presentations and everything, they compare when they really meet a partner to the social media thing, whatever they have seen the contents, and they feel like if they that is something which I want, like that, so they are dissatisfied with the real world things.
Yes. Yes.
So that is how these days relationships are also seeing both the things, there are good things which we should also learn, and there are few things which is going in a little different way.
Yes. It was very insightful. आपने जो भी पॉइंट बताया, इट वाज वेरी इंसाइटफुल, बिकॉज आई कैन आल्सो रिलेट दैट कि सोशल
Hmm.
मीडिया जो है ना आजकल, पहले जो है सोशल मीडिया इतना ज़्यादा इम्पैक्टफुल नहीं था. आफ्टर कोविड जब ऑनलाइन सेशन स्टार्ट हुए, देन सोशल मीडिया गॉट बूस्ट अप लाइक एनीथिंग. सब लोग जो है उसी सोशल मीडिया में आने लगे. पीपल स्टार्टेड पोस्टिंग फोटोज, वीडियोस, एंड विद ऑल द फिल्टर्स और उससे जो है बस सुंदर दिखना, ये सब करना, तो ये बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया, तो उससे जो है लोगों के एक्सपेक्टेशंस भी काफी बढ़ गए।
बढ़ गया
एंड
है।
ये तो उससे ज्यादा जो है कि पीपल स्टार्ट कंपैरिजन, लोगों को इनर ब्यूटी से ज्यादा जो है आउटर ब्यूटी पसंद आने लगा है।
एग्जैक्टली।
तो अकॉर्डिंग टू यू मीन्स आप ऐसा क्या सोचते हैं कि पीपल आर टुडे आर इमोशनली अवेयर और इमोशनली ओवरवेल्म?
This question, I would say both. They are aware also, but at a point, they focus so much on negative emotions also because of this constant stress, competition. Like I know, like unrealistic demand from themselves. Like I have to do this by this age. Those things. So they are emotionally aware in the way when where I told again. In a relationship or even if in an individualistic area, they are very self-aware. They know which things can trigger them. They know what are their stress factors. They know what are their non-negotiable things. They are very aware about their emotions, their internal stress triggers, everything. But at the same time, when we are talking about this as a positive point, it makes overwhelm when these emotional awareness comes as a very rigid form, like it becomes a takes the shape of a, like if this is the thing and I am not going to compromise on any kind of thing. So rigidness in these emotional patterns, what they are aware of, is something which like takes the relationship towards conflict, because once we have a rigid mindset, we are not ready to accept what the person in front of us is trying to make us understand, क्योंकि हमारा बिलीफ सिस्टम इतना स्ट्रांग हो जाता है कि यही होगा. So
Yes, yes.
वो जो थोड़ा सा भी, because in any relationship, in any generation, you say, whether you call it, you don't call it, there is little bit of healthy compromise, but not compromise at the cost of self respect or losing your own individuality. Not at that, that is unhealthy. Compromise in the sense little bit understanding the interest, little bit compromising where you feel that this is not something which is hampering me or my individuality. So वो जो थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्रोमाइज अगर कोई बोलेगा कि हाँ हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप में कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं होता है, आई वुडंट एग्री. देयर आर लिटिल बिट, and that is healthy, because we dedicate that to the, like we know, we prioritize our partner in some way कि
Yes.
नहीं, this relationship is important for me, we keep it above.
Right,
So
right.
this is how it becomes overwhelm also at points, and also somewhere too much of observing, getting absorbed in your own emotion is also creating that overwhelming feeling. Ki I am feeling this, and like trying to that learned helplessness. So that creates little bit of a emotional overwhelm, thoughts or feelings or behavior.
Right. एंड यस, यू हैव ट्रूली सेड कि आजकल जो है ना इतना ज्यादा आई कैन से कि पेशेंस भी नहीं है लोगों के अंदर।
हाँ.
एंड उसके साथ साथ जो है ना वो ओवरवेल्म भी हो जाते हैं जल्दी जल्दी, एंड प्लस कि उन्होंने ठान लिया होता कि नहीं, मुझे ये इससे ज्यादा जो है मुझे ये नहीं करना है। अगर
हाँ.
कभी कभार अगर घर का काम भी बढ़ गया तो नो, मैं क्यों करूँ। तो समटाइम्स वो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी भी नहीं रहती है आजकल, क्योंकि लोग
हाँ.
देखते जा रहे हैं, इफ शी इज डूइंग दिस देन आई शुड आल्सो डू दैट। वो रैट रेस में वो पीछे पीछे जो है ना भागते रहते हैं, बट
हाँ.
सबका जो है कंपैरिजन नहीं कर सकते, इट इज टोटली डिफरेंट। तो वो लोगों
Exactly.
के अंदर इतना ज्यादा समझ आ जाएगा कि नहीं, यू हैव टू बी फ्लेक्सिबल एट सम और अदर एंड। एंड ऐसा भी है कि आपको जो सामने वाले का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू भी समझना है कि अगर सबको सामने वाला कभी गुस्सा भी कर रहा है, तो इट माइट बी कि उस पर्टिकुलर टाइम पे या उस पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन में शायद ऐसा आ गया था, गुस्सा आ गया हो, वो कुछ पल के लिए होगा, बट इट माइट नॉट बी कि हम लोग बोलते हैं कि नहीं, ये पर्सन जो हमेशा गुस्सा ही करता है। तो हम लोग जो है जैसे आपने बताया पहले की लेबलिंग कर देते हैं कि नहीं, ये हमेशा
हाँ.
गुस्सा ही करता है। तो वी हैव टू थिंक
And
दैट।
jumping to conclusion. Yeah.
यस यस यस। एंड ये सब जो है इमोशनल चीजें जो है या फिर जो हमारा जो बिहेवियर पैटर्न है, आई थिंक दैट इज ऑल्सो कनेक्टेड टू द चाइल्डहुड एक्सपीरियंस। तो अकॉर्डिंग टू यू कि हाउ डू आर चाइल्डहुड एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड अटैचमेंट स्टाइल्स इन्फ्लुएंस द पार्टनर्स वी चूज?
Uh, बहुत ज़्यादा. I would say like that is one of the major pillar. What I have been through in my childhood, and like that shapes most of my behavioral traits. Like, you know, how will be my conflict resolution technique, how I manage stress, how I behave when, like, you know, when my when my something I don't I want something and that is not unmet, when my needs are unmet, how I behave at that time, how I resolve conflict, as well as how I allow others to be themselves. So ये सारे चीजें ना, feeling of loneliness, feeling of fear of abandonment, trust, fear of commitment, ये सारे चीजें ना कहीं हमारे childhood से ही shape होते हैं, because when we reach around our adolescence period, so हमारा एक core belief set होता है हमारे खुद के लिए, like who am I, and how is the world with me, and how I am towards the world. So मेरा जो perception है world का, और मेरा खुद के ऊपर जो perception है, high हो सकता है, low हो सकता है, that is all, like you know, वो time से ही set होना start होता है gradually. So जब किसी का लो सेल्फ एस्टीम रहता है, या फिर सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट लो होता है, या फिर खुद के बारे में उसका जो खुद का जो सेल्फ इमेज रहता है, वो थोड़ा सा हेजी रहता है, नहीं तो ब्लर रहता है, उतना क्लियर नहीं रहता है. सो दे व्हेन दे कम इनटू अ रिलेशनशिप, बिकॉज रिलेशनशिप हम लोग जब बात कर रहे हैं ना, देर आर टू इंडिविजुअल को एग्जिस्टिंग एंड विथ
यस
टू डिफरेंट सेट ऑफ थिंग्स, जहाँ पे कि एक का वैल्यूज, एथिक्स, मोरल, you know, conflict resolution, stress management, triggers, everything is different. दूसरे का भी डिफरेंट रहता है. सो यूजुअली आजकल रिलेशनशिप में पीपल, लाइक यू कैन सी ऑल ओवर द इंटरनेट की लव लैंग्वेज टेस्ट लिया हमने. सो व्हाट आई फील in a modern day, what is more important is like you know, knowing each other's love map, because love
यस
map includes everything: emotions, stressors, triggers, you know, trust factors, like how much what are the triggers of that person, knowing what can stress the person, what the person is going through currently. So ये सारा कुछ अगर हमको मालूम होगा, so then we will understand that person not only like you know how he is outside, but to the core, like beyond the daily regular routine, that how that person is. So I think
यस
so it shapes everything, every behavior that we do in a relationship. If a child has seen constant negligence in their during their childhood, then they might have a fear of abandonment when they get into a relationship. वो constant mind में उनका subconsciously ही रहता है. This is just a single example. There are many others.
यस यस करेक्ट।
हम अगर बात करेंगे तो मे भी पूरा मतलब बीत जाएगा हमारा लाइव सेशन बात करने में कि हाउ अ चाइल्डहुड एक्सपीरियंस कैन शेप अ रिलेशनशिप.
यस, इट्स अ वेरी वास्ट सब्जेक्ट आई कैन से कि उसमें जो है जितना
या
ज्यादा बोल सकते हैं उतना हम बोल सकते हैं हम लोग। बट मैं ये भी तो कहना चाहूँ कि जैसे एग्जाम्पल कि अगर बच्चा जो है डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस देख रहा है, अगर पेरेंट जो है अगर पापा जो है मम्मी को मार रहे हैं, तो अगर वो लड़का है बचपन में तो उसको ऐसा ही फील रहता है कि नो, आई हैव टू बी ऑथोरिटेटिव, मुझे जो है ये कंट्रोल करना है, मुझे मेरी जो भी पार्टनर रहेगी उसे मुझे कंट्रोल में रखना है, उसके मुझे दबा के रखना है। तो ये एक
हाँ
जो है आई कैन रिलेट कि वो जो है वो एक बिहेवियरल पैटर्न बचपन से ही फिर वो बन जाता है।
हाँ,
यस।
क्योंकि
तो
हमारा उधर हमारा जेंडर के प्रति एक रेस्पेक्ट जो रहता है कि हियर ही हैज लर्न कि फीमेल शुड बी लाइक यू नो बिलो अस, मैं इनको दबा के रख सकता हूँ, एंड दिस इज पॉसिबल इफ दैट वाज like going on in my home and my mother was not objecting that, that means it is something which I also can practice in my life.
राइट, राइट। और वो जो है बच्चे, दे टेक पेरेंट्स एज एग्जाम्पल, वो समझ जाते हैं, उनको लगता है कि हाँ ये सही चल रहा है, तो वो उस
Hmm.
हिसाब से अपनी जो है बिहेवियरल पैटर्न बना देते हैं।
Hmm.
एंड आई वुड लाइक टू अंडरस्टैंड कि डिस्पाइट बीइंग कॉन्स्टेंटली कनेक्टेड, so why do many people struggle with meaningful communication relationships? Because आजकल जो है ये मैंने देखा है कि वी आर सोशल मीडिया से हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा कनेक्टेड रहते हैं, बट कहीं ना
Hmm.
कहीं वो लोग जो है फिर भी वो कुछ बात नहीं कर पाते हैं।
हाँ, बिकॉज जब एक सोशल मीडिया की बात आती है या फिर हम लोग कांस्टेंट कनेक्शन में रहते हैं, तो एक तो ये चीज है कि मतलब अगर भी हम कांस्टेंट कनेक्शन में रह रहे हैं बट इमोशनल इंटीमेसी उधर नहीं है, क्योंकि एक गैजेट में हमको टेक्स्ट के थ्रू या फिर वीडियो के थ्रू वी आर टॉकिंग, वी आर अनएबल टू एक्सप्रेस आवर फीलिंग। मतलब पास में बैठ के हाथ पकड़ के, इवन इफ यू से दैट्स ओके, इट्स फाइन, लेट्स नाउ पैच इट अप। सो वो वो चीज कहने में और लाइक राइटिंग दैट लेट्स पैच इट अप, इट्स ओके फाइन। सो वो कैसे एक पर्सन लेगा, क्योंकि अगर मेरा मेंटल सेट बहुत ही हैप्पी होगा एंड समवन हैज सेंट मी लेट्स पैच इट अप, मेरे फ्रेंड ही सही, देन आई वुड टेक इट इन अ वेरी पॉजिटिव वे कि हाँ बोला मुझे पैच अप करने के लिए। But agar if I am going through a very bad mood and I receive that text, I will take it as per my emotional state. So we
यस,
have to, वो जो intimacy, वो जो bond रहता है, that is not there. And social media में हम लोग जब मतलब we are connected or we are connected through a video call, so there might be जब छोटा short messages रहता है. See, I have heard this during many of my sessions कि ना, like if I will give a 10 line का message but I'll receive only one okay. So I feel I am ignored. I feel like the person does not have interest in me, and I also feel rejected कि मेरा इतना सारा emotion मैंने लिख के भेजा, उसके बाद एक thumbs up आया या फिर एक okay आया. Maybe that okay is okay, you are going through all of these things, I can hear you. So matlab how the voice, your pitch, the way you are taking a simple word can change the whole meaning. So वो नहीं हो पाता है, तो constantly connected रहने का भी कोई मतलब नहीं है if you don't have that emotional maturity or if you don't have that bonding.
राइट, राइट। तो मुझे इससे एक बात याद आ रही थी कि जैसे हम लोग जो है पहले लेटर्स लिखते थे, तो वी वर मोर इमोशनली कनेक्टेड, हमारे इमोशंस जो सामने वाले तक पहुंचते थे। अगर वही चीज मैं व्हाट्सएप करूंगी तो नाउ इट्स लाइक अ फॉर्मेलिटी। अगर जैसे एग्जाम्पल कि हम लोग पहले बर्थडे मैसेज करना होता था, या फिर बर्थडे पे हम लोग जो है सामने वाले कजिन्स या फ्रेंड्स के घर पे चले जाते थे सेलिब्रेशंस के लिए, बट नाउ इट्स अ स्मॉल HBD समटाइम्स, कि हैप्पी HBD या फिर सिर्फ
Yeah.
HBD, एंड एक छोटा सा
हाँ,
केक डाल दिया हमें स्माइली।
हाँ,
तो वो जो इमोशन या वो जो कनेक्शन है ना, वो इतना नहीं हो पाता। अभी इट्स लाइक हाँ कि ठीक है, इट्स फॉर्मेलिटी, हाँ बस मैसेज करना है। तो वो जो
हाँ,
उस हिसाब से इमोशनली कनेक्शन नहीं हो पाता है।
नहीं हो
एंड
पाता है।
यस, यस। एंड जैसे आपने
अगर
बताया
भी
कि
वो एचबीडी से हटके, अगर इवन इफ देर इज अ हैप्पी बर्थडे 10 केक्स, 5 flowers and there is a sticker, but if there is that forward symbol, no, I have heard this people come and saying मैम बहुत सारा भेजा बट ये सारे फॉरवर्डेड मैसेजेस थे. So that is what I told, like people are very self aware, like these days, so they can term it कि ये forwarded message है, मैम देखो ये कैसे आया है. So that also matters. So like something done out of effort, even if you put a small cupcake and put a candle on it, and if you both are there and being in that moment with each other, standing beside each other, even if you don't tell HBD or happy birthday, that matters a lot.
करेक्ट, करेक्ट। बिकॉज इससे क्या है कि लोगों की एक्सपेक्टेशंस भी बहुत बढ़ गई है। अगर मैंने 3 लाइन का मैसेज भेजा तो मुझे सामने से उतना ही आना चाहिए। तो वो
Yeah, exactly.
एक्सपेक्टेशन एंड कंपैरिजन के चक्कर में कि समवॉट कि ऐसा रहता है कि आई वुड बी कंफर्टेबल इन डूइंग दी व्हाट्सएप, बट सामने वाले का इच्छा रहता है कि नहीं वो कॉल करके ही बताए। might be
हाँ,
he or she is comfortable in through the calls, बट मेरा
हाँ,
कम्युनिकेशन जो है व्हाट्सएप पे कंफर्टेबल है बट उसका नहीं है, तो ऑब्वियसली वो उतना ज्यादा कनेक्शन नहीं हो पाएगा। वो सामने वाला फिर ओके ही लिखेगा, बट हम
हाँ,
लोग जो है वो पकड़ के बैठते हैं कि नहीं मैंने व्हाट्सएप किया तो मुझे व्हाट्सएप पे ही आना चाहिए और इस तरीके का ही आना चाहिए। तो समटाइम्स
हाँ,
दैट क्रिएट्स chaos आल्सो, वो झगड़े
हाँ.
भी होने लग जाते हैं। तो मैं ये भी पूछना चाहूंगी कि कैन डिफरेंसेस इन पर्सनालिटी स्ट्रेंथन अ रिलेशनशिप और डू दे टेंड टू क्रिएट लॉन्ग टर्म चैलेंजेस? तो व्हाट्स योर इनसाइट्स अबाउट?
Mm, yeah, like somewhere, uh, यहाँ पे ना बहुत बड़ा वर्ड दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड इमोशनल मैच्योरिटी.
यस।
अगर एक दो लोग को एग्जिस्ट कर रहे हैं, अगेन आई वुड से हम लोग अगर एक रिलेशनशिप देखते हैं या फिर एक फैमिली में भी रिलेशनशिप देखते हैं, देर आर मेनी पीपल और देर आर टू पीपल स्टेइंग को एग्जिस्टिंग टुगेदर. That means complete set of two individuals, like all the entire set A and set B, both are different. So in some places what happens is like, no, other people understands ki okay, this is his conflict resolution technique where he shuts down after a conflict and takes some time to uh, just one take some time to resolve the conflict, or like will need some space and then will come and talk to me. But there are individuals who want sudden, instant clarification about everything, want to sit and talk. So these are two extremes. We can choose a gray patch in between, like where the time is also given to the person who need that space, and at the same time, uh, the other person who needs clarification can wait for some time. That is where I told compromise is a word which is applicable to both all generations. We cannot say कि तब भी था compromise करना, अभी कोई compromise नहीं करेगा. So this is where we keep the relationship above what we are, like what I want, our wants. So need क्या रहता है, थोड़ा सा focusing on needs. So both are different. I want something that things should be clarified right now here itself, and the relationship needs little space and understanding. So that is what matters.
Yes,
So
wonderfully
that
explained.
here, yeah,
Yes, yes.
here when personality differences are not treated as flaws, जब वो टॉन्ट्स की तरह नहीं आते हैं, तो तभी इजी रहता है, कोई मतलब प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता है. बट इफ समवन स्टार्ट स्पीकिंग अप दोज थिंग्स, क्योंकि कोई किसी का ट्रेट अगर कुछ है तो उसको मैनेज किया जा सकता है, बट वी कैन नॉट चेंज. यू कैन नॉट एक्सपेक्ट द अदर पर्सन टू कम्प्लीटली बिकम लाइक यू, कि मेरे जैसा ही कोई होना चाहिए. ट्विंस बेबीज भी एक जैसे नहीं होते हैं, उनका प्रेफरेंसेस ये सब सब कुछ अलग रहता है. सो हाउ कैन यू एक्सपेक्ट समवन जो कि कहीं और पे बड़ा हुआ है, उसका फैमिली एनवायरनमेंट सब कुछ अलग था, टू बिकम कंप्लीटली लाइक यू. एंड अनदर थिंग ड्यूरिंग पर्सनालिटी डिफरेंसेस जो कि एक बहुत बड़ा मेजर रोल प्ले करता है, इज अज्यूमिंग समथिंग. उसने यही सोचा होगा कि मैं इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं हूँ इसीलिए बात नहीं किया. सो एज्यूमिंग पूरा एकदम पूरा बड़ा से बड़ा स्टोरी, मतलब पूरा एक मूवी बन गया माइंड में.
Yes, yes.
बट देर इज अ क्रेजी मेथड लाइक लेट मी आस्क, लेट मी टॉक, कम्युनिकेट.
राइट, राइट. तो जैसे आपने बताया कि एज्यूमिंग एंड प्लस टॉन्ट्स, तो ये जो है बहुत ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट करता है रिलेशनशिप्स में। बिकॉज
बहुत ज्यादा.
आजकल क्या है ना कि कंपैरिजन भी बहुत बढ़ गया है, सोशल मीडिया भी बढ़ गया है, तो प्लस लोगों के जो है पार्टनर्स के बीच टॉन्टिंग भी काफी बढ़ गया है, डायरेक्टली टॉन्टिंग एंड इनडायरेक्टली टॉन्टिंग। तो इतना ज्यादा अगर कभी अनहेल्दी रिलेशनशिप भी रहता है, तो व्हाई डू पीपल ऑफन स्टे इन रिलेशनशिप्स इवन दे नो दैट दे आर इमोशनली अनहेल्दी?
यहाँ पे आई वुड लाइक टॉक लिटिल बिट bring little bit of science, क्योंकि whenever we speak about mental health, relationship, इसमें science भी बहुत ज़्यादा role play करता है. So when we are saying someone is understanding कि ये relationship मेरे लिए अच्छा नहीं है, but still they are staying in that relationship. So this is somewhat like we call it as a trauma bonding, or somewhere even if it is not a trauma bonding, because that is a very big term. We have to be very mindful when we are using psychological term. But ये एक ऐसा unhealthy bond हो सकता है जो कि कोई unknown manipulation के through चल रहा है, like even if that is not done intentionally, maybe the behavioral pattern उसमें जो है, so maybe that is creating little bit of that confusion. तो ब्रेन को समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा है कि इसमें से मुझे पॉजिटिव मिल रहा है या फिर नेगेटिव मिल रहा है, शॉक मिल रहा है या फिर मुझे स्वीट्स मिल रहे हैं. सो कभी शॉक मिलता है, कभी स्वीट्स मिलता है. सो इट गोज फॉर स्वीट्स अगेन एंड अगेन. एक बार स्वीट मिला, एक बार शॉक मिला, तो वहां पे ब्रेन कंफ्यूजन में रहता है. वन सेकेंड थिंग, दिस कंफ्यूजन जहाँ पे कि एक रिलेशनशिप से पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव एक वेव में आते हैं, लाइक अल्टरनेट में. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज इंटरमिटेंट रेनफोर्समेंट. सो मैंने मतलब अभी फिलहाल ही एक दो चीजें ऐसे ऑब्जर्व किया है मेरे रियल लाइफ ड्यूरिंग सेशन में. सो इंटरमिटेंट रेनफोर्समेंट में क्या होता है, अगेन दिस कंफ्यूजन इज क्रिएटेड इन द ब्रेन कि whether to stay or not to stay, and this confusion कहीं ना कहीं वो लोगों को अच्छा लगता है कि ये जो familiar pattern बन रहा है, because they become familiar with that pattern. So वो familiar with an unhealthy pattern sometimes also ask them to stay in that relationship. And third thing, if they are not self aware कि चल क्या रहा है, मुझे चाहिए क्या.
ओके ओके, यस, काफी साइंटिफिकली वे में आपने एंड बट सिंपल वे में आपने काफी अच्छे से समझाया कि यस कि इट इज रिलेटेड टू दी साइंटिफिक मींस ब्रेन रिलेटेड भी है. तो ये मेरे लिए भी काफी न्यू थिंग था जानने के लिए. तो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर शेयरिंग दिस वंडरफुल नॉलेज टू अस. एंड यस कि आई वुड आल्सो थिंक कि जैसे कि one important realization is here that many relationship patterns actually begins much earlier within our homes, childhood experiences and parenting environments. तो जैसे अभी parenting की बात हो रही है तो let's go towards the parenting part also. कि how do parents relationships impact a child's emotional development?
See, अभी if we see little bit we go back, हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कि हमारा आज का behavior in our relationship, how it is shaped by our our childhood experiences. So ये same चीज हो गया कि like here there we got the experience, here we are giving the experience to the other generation. So it is very important क्योंकि इसमें क्या रहता है ना, मतलब हम लोग बोलते हैं कि वी आर सी वॉच पापा एंड मम्मा हाउ दे आर सो वेल बिहेव्ड. पर अगर हम लोग स्ट्रेस के टाइम पे या फिर व्हेन वी आर अंडर जब वी आर नॉट इन अ like limelight or in a constant observation, but we our natural instinct, we start fighting, we start yelling at our partner. So they observe that, वो ऑब्जर्व भी करते हैं, अब्जॉर्व भी करते हैं, सो दोनों होता है. So even if we are telling something, but we are doing something else. So वो confusion भी create करता है because they always remain which is correct then, what they told or what they are showing us. So our parents are somewhat they are role model for us. How they behave with their partner, not only with their partner, how they behave with the society, how they behave with everyone around them, have a lot of impact on the child's social identity, self awareness, uska self identity, self esteem, and moreover how to behave when he or she is under stress. We say that we ask a child ki don't throw things when you are angry, but we are only throwing things when we are angry. So we are not teaching the child regulation, we are teaching the child how to react. So that is how it shapes the child's behavior, emotional development, social identity, as well as a lot of, you know, what we say, like self awareness related behavior, like what he thinks of himself. That will also be defined by that.
Yes, yes. And you have rightly said that कि parents are the role model for the children.
Yeah.
एंड वो उनको ही कॉपी करते हैं. अगर कभी कभी वो पेरेंट्स को देखेंगे कि दे आर लाइंग टू अदर पर्सन, तो धीरे धीरे वो पेरेंट्स को जो है झूठ बोलना स्टार्ट कर देंगे. एंड कभी पेरेंट्स बोले कि नहीं, ये अंकल को ऐसा बोलना, इस अंकल को ऐसा बोलना, तो चिल्ड्रन ऑल्सो लर्न हाउ टू मैनिपुलेट द थिंग्स, हाउ
Yeah,
टू
yeah.
डू मीन्स झूठ बोलना. प्लस और तरीके से अगर किसी को मारते हैं या फिर कुछ भी करते हैं, तो वो उनका बिहेवियरल पैटर्न बन जाता है. फिर अगर कुछ जिद करने बैठ जाएंगे कि हाँ मुझे ये चीज चाहिए, अगर हम रोएंगे तो हमें चीज मिल रही है, तो एवरी टाइम दे विल स्टार्ट दिस पैटर्न.
Hmm.
तो यस कि बहुत ही इम्पैक्टफुल रहता है व्हाट पेरेंट्स आर शोइंग एंड व्हाट पेरेंट्स आर बिहेविंग टुवर्ड्स द सोसाइटी आल्सो. So,
Exactly.
according to your view, which parenting approach is the best support? Which parenting approach best supports a child's emotional well-being according to
हाँ. हम लोग जब पेरेंटिंग टाइप्स के बारे में बात करते हैं, समथिंग it's there are few parenting methods like where we are talking about neglectful parenting or authoritarian, authoritative, but there are many more other forms which we see in our behavior also. But I would say some there is no one size fit for all, or like there is no one kind of parenting for all ages. The kind of parenting that a child requires at the age of 5 does not require the same at the age of 10, does not require at the age of 18. So here we also have to like change the way we deal with our parents according to their age, their acceptance, their maturity level. So that is very important. So like keeping it evolving. So parenting method should be evolving according to the nature, the child's need, like in order to provide emotional security to the child. My child may be feeling emotionally secure in a particular behavior, maybe that is nothing for some other parents. See, being in a relationship for 15 years and like having a teen child, I some or the other way have done a lot of trial and error things. So I understand that key, okay, maybe this is not something which every child needs, but some child needs little like more acknowledgement, some child needs little more validation. So some any form of parenting which is meeting the needs of the child, emotional, physical, social needs, everything, and which is healthy for the child, and if it is evolving according to the age of the child, then I think so that is somewhere a healthy form of parenting. And consistency is something which is very important in parenting. If something is wrong outside, that is also wrong when we are at home. If something is wrong at morning 10 a.m., it should be wrong at night 10 p.m. So like that consistency or a structure, any parenting that provides a healthy structure for the child to like grow, to become what they want to, and without detaching themselves from their originality. If they are like evolving, if they are like growing, if they are feeling themselves safe, and if they can be honest with us without being afraid, that is what a good parenting, I feel. These are more important components than what we talk about.
यस. आपने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से बताया कि कैसे जो है इम्पोर्टेंट रहता है पेरेंट्स का रोल एंड उनका अप्रोच किस हिसाब से होना चाहिए. सो
Exactly.
जैसे बात चल रही थी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के बारे में, तो ऐसा क्या इफेक्ट हो जाता है चाइल्ड के बिहेवियर में या फिर उसके लिविंग पैटर्न में इन द लॉन्ग टर्म व्हेन दे सी दैट पेरेंट्स आर कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग रेगुलरली, तो उनके
हम्म.
माइंड पे क्या असर होता
बहुत ज्यादा. you know, uh, आगे चल के अगर if I am talking from a mental health point of view, if I have seen, someone who is having any kind of childhood traumatic experience, अगर traumatic experience भी नहीं हुआ, if there is a daily conflict, everyday fight over correction, always the home temperature, like the temperature of the home environment is always conflictful. So I have seen those child having very low self esteem. I have seen those child being afraid of getting into relationship. और वो जब adult बनते हैं, when it comes for their part to give now commitment, they are afraid of it. And in some areas it is even worse, क्योंकि वो सोचते हैं relationship is something which cannot go long, क्योंकि I cannot stay in that kind of, so they go for multiple unhealthy relationships, multiple partners, getting into unhealthy sexual relationship just to get instant gratification, just to prove their love for someone, they get into unhealthy sexual relationship. क्योंकि ये सारी चीजें ना, they have learned that relationship is a thing which is inconsistent, and I have to do some or the other thing in order to be in this, I have to fit into this. So they have a fear of these days, so it is so much that I can see, like if there are five people, out of that three are already having fear of commitment, fear of getting into relationship or marriages. Like they will stay together, but if you talk about marriage, they may like step out. So
Yes,
this is how it impacts their adult behavior as well as during their adolescence also. They don't feel safe to go and share their what they are feeling to their parents. So that is how, like, unhealthy home atmosphere is something not only shapes the child, it also, like, have a lot of impact on child, how the child will observe the society around him.
राइट. सो आई कैन से कि पेरेंट्स को जो है ना एक ऐसा एटमॉस्फेयर बनाना चाहिए विच इज ट्रांसपेरेंट, विच इज फ्रेंडली एंड विच इज कंफर्टेबल फॉर द चिल्ड्रन, कि
Exactly.
एंड प्लस इट शुड बी नॉन जजमेंटल, कि ऐसा ना हो कि बच्चा बोलने आ रहा है एंड तुरंत ही उसको जज कर लगे ये आपने क्यों किया, वो क्यों किया. हम लोग जो है तुरंत उनको डांटना चालू कर देते हैं. बट यस, इफ इट इज जो है अगर वो काफी कंफर्टेबल जो है एनवायरनमेंट रहेगा, फ्रेंडली एनवायरनमेंट रहेगा, तो पीपल विल जो चिल्ड्रन है वो सच बोलना स्टार्ट कर देंगे. दे वुड बी कंफर्टेबल, कि उनको वो एक कंफर्ट जोन मिल जाएगा कि नहीं, अगर मैं मम्मी को बताऊंगा तो मम्मी मुझे जज नहीं करेगी, मुझे समझाएगी, मुझे डांटेगी नहीं. बट
Hmm.
जैसे ही बच्चे ने कुछ मिस्टेक किया एंड तुरंत हमने रिएक्ट करके हमने उनको डांटा, तो चिल्ड्रन जो है धीरे धीरे वो जो है दूर होने लगता है, एंड प्लस जो है वो जो शेयर करना चाहता है वो शेयर नहीं कर पाता है, बिकॉज ऑफ द फियर
Hmm.
ऑफ द जजमेंट, बिकॉज ऑफ द फियर ऑफ द स्कोल्डिंग.
Yeah,
तो
very true.
ऑब्वियसली कि दिस parenting is shaping a child confidence and a sense of self. तो इसमें कुछ आप insights देना चाहेंगे?
See, like when we are talking about sense of self, so either like parenting is equally important, and also what your parents see within you, like how they make you feel. That is also very important. If a child is being heard, if a child is allowed to share their experience, so that matters a lot. क्योंकि उसको एक free space दिया गया है that you can talk about it, and we are there to listen.
Yes.
Sorry.
Main thing is that कि हम लोग जो उनको सुन रहे हैं विदाउट एनी जजमेंट. अगर उनको सुनने
हाँ.
का मौका नहीं मिलेगा तो वो जो है धीरे धीरे डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाते हैं, डिटैच हो जाते हैं, दे आर सर्चिंग आउटसाइड टू द सोशल मीडिया. फिर अननोन लोगों से के साथ जो है बातचीत करना चालू कर देते हैं, एंड दे ऑल्सो समटाइम्स गेट इनटू द ट्रैप्स. सोशल मीडिया पे जो आजकल फ्रॉड्स चल रहा है, ट्रैप्स चल रहा है, तो उसमें भी वो धीरे धीरे फंस जाते हैं. बट उन्हें पता नहीं चलता कि उन्हें वो फीलिंग आता है कि नो, आई एम ऑन द राइट पाथ, बट उनको उस टाइम पे
exactly.
गाइडेंस नहीं मिलता है. तो यस
And
एंड
mo-
यस.
moreover, जो पेरेंट्स के साथ एक अट्यूनमेंट रहना चाहिए ना, लाइक वो जो एक बॉन्डिंग बिल्ट होता है वेयर द चाइल्ड इज एक्चुअली सेफ. एनी फॉर्म ऑफ पेरेंटिंग जो भी पेरेंट्स कर रहे हैं, लाइक ऑब्वियसली द रीजन और द इंटेंशन बिहाइंड दैट इज ऑलवेज पॉजिटिव,
करेक्ट.
बट डिलीवरिंग दैट उसको कैसे प्लेस किया जाए यहाँ पे कि दैट विल बी टेकन वेल बाय द चाइल्ड. what understanding the mood, understanding the situation of the child, क्योंकि we cannot say that उनको क्या stress है. आजकल child को भी बहुत ज्यादा stress है. They also have to be in a certain way in the society. They also are seeing a lot of competition, not only academically but according to their, like what, how they should be in a social position. They are also in a different levels of stress are there. So we cannot say. सो अगर चाइल्ड कौन से मूड में है, हम अभी क्या बताएंगे दैट ही विल फील सेफ. एंड देर आर मेनी चिल्ड्रन हु कम एंड से दैट मैम, like I feel that I can be better if I it will be better if I share with my friend rather than my parents. So somewhere it is okay, because if it is little like like child level of sharing, that is okay. But if the child is sharing something very deep down emotional thing to a friend which is not that important for her, so like एक important information share भी हो गया and that was not attended, क्योंकि दोनों ही बच्चे हैं इधर.
यस.
So that is very important. We have to be very aware कि हमारा what our child is going through. All those things are also very important when we are talking about parenting.
करेक्ट. एंड इट इज वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट कि पेरेंट्स जो है सुन रहे हैं उनको अच्छे से. बिकॉज मुझे भी एक इंसिडेंट याद आया कि एक लड़की थी. शी वाज ओनर ऑफ द एनजीओ. बहुत यंग जनरेशन, जेन जी जनरेशन था. एंड वो बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे थे. एंड उनका जो है पॉडकास्ट के लिए मेरे पास कॉल आया था कि वी वांट टू इनवाइट यू एज अ गेस्ट स्पीकर. तो उससे जब मेरे बात चल रहा था तो आई वॉज लिसनिंग टू हर बिकॉज आई एम अ गुड लिसनर. मैं कुछ बोल नहीं रही थी. शी वॉज शेयरिंग हर थॉट्स, शेयरिंग हर एक्सपीरियंसेस अबाउट हर लाइफ. पता नहीं वो मुझसे बहुत ज्यादा कनेक्ट हो गई थी इन अ फर्स्ट टॉक ऑल्सो. तो वो
Hmm.
मुझसे बात किए जा रही थी एंड एट द एंड शी टोल्ड मी कि मैम यू आर द फर्स्ट पर्सन और फर्स्ट एडल्ट हु इज लिसनिंग टू मी. इतनी देर से वो मुझे कोई सुन रहा है एंड विदाउट एनी जजमेंट. तो मुझे
Exactly.
लगा कि बच्चे बात करना चाहते हैं बट पेरेंट्स ने कहीं ना कहीं या तो लिमिटेशन क्रिएट कर दिया है या तो ऐसा कोई कंफर्ट स्पेस उन्होंने क्रिएट नहीं किया है या फिर जो जजमेंटल स्पेस बना दिया है कि तो बच्चा जो हेजिटेट कर रहा है डिस्कशन करने के लिए कि अगर मैंने ये
हाँ.
टॉपिक के बारे में बताया तो मुझे क्या बोला जाएगा, मुझे डांटा जाएगा या फिर रेस्ट्रिक्ट किया जाएगा कि नहीं. अगर मैंने कुछ बता दिया कि मैंने इसमें मैं फंस गई हूँ तो दे विल रेस्ट्रिक्ट की या फिर मुझसे मोबाइल छीन लिया जाएगा. तो ये आजकल बहुत ज्यादा फियर बैठ जाता है ड्यू टू द डिजिटल एज. And also, I would like to understand कि how can parents balance between the screen time and emotional connection with their children? तो कुछ आप टिप्स बताना चाहेंगे हमारी ऑडियंस में?
See, first of all, like when parents are like, even if it is their screen time or it is their children's screen time, they have to first be self-aware कि मेरा screen time कितना जा रहा है. So we fix a routine कि you should not go beyond 1 hour. But इधर हम लोग ही बैठ के 4 घंटा scrolling कर रहे हैं. So that is somewhat like we are creating a huge discrepancy between what we are saying and what we are doing. So they understand that those rules like जो 1 घंटे scroll करने का बनाया गया है, that is only told. We can deviate. If they are deviating, we can also can deviate. That is what I told about consistency in parenting. And something when they are like managing between screen and like children, suppose someone is doing that because of their work, if they're working from home, so definitely these days work and even both the parents are working, that is very challenging for the parents as well as for the child also, because the child stays at home and expects the parent to, like, start talking to them or ask about how was the day, or listen to their mini fights, they have lost something, so everything. So at that point, no, at least you can focus on little bit of quality time. You talk about their how was your day, you listen from them, the active listening that you did for the child. So that is
Yes,
something could be done, and undivided attention is something very important when someone is talking, and that is basically a respect. And we cannot say that हम लोग बच्चों को क्या respect देंगे. If we want respect from them, we have to give them. That is what I believe. So if someone is giving that undivided attention to us, then I also have to give that undivided attention. So that is a form of respect to the children when they are telling about even a small fight that happened in school. Ki, okay, that
yes,
happened. Keep your screens away and listen to them. Don't give them immediate solutions or suggestions or something. Just listen to them and ask them what they can do to solve their problem. They are very smart. They have a
yes,
lot of solutions. Just we need to keep on, little bit boosting them. Like, you can do that. Like, what probably can solve this situation? What kind of solution you want? So that is one thing. And when it comes to balancing, it is also very important to have that time along with your family members. So nowadays everyone will be in the same room, but everyone will be scrolling. So that happens, like, when we, even if we say, lot of times, like, subconsciously that happens. That we have to consciously stop. Like, why we are all are sitting in one room and we are scrolling? We can watch something common. We can have at least one meal together, so that, we know each other's taste, and like after 5 years he can tell, my mom loves this item a lot, like she eats this and she prepares this very well. So wo bonding aata hai when we know about each other's liking disliking. That is a very small thing, but that stays with the children when they grow old also. They talk about the same thing. No, when I was a child, when I was sitting and eating, this used to happen. We
right,
also
right.
remember like what we have done, like with our father, with our family. So that is how it matters. Like, we have to create that quality time atmosphere and free from any kind of overcorrection behavior, judgments, free for like allowing the individual to be themselves.
Yes. आपने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से बताया कि देयर शुड बी क्वालिटी टाइम एंड गैजेट फ्री टाइम आई कैन से एक ऐसा
Hmm.
टाइम होना चाहिए इट शुड बी गैजेट फ्री स्क्रीन फ्री तभी जो है वो बॉन्डिंग धीरे धीरे स्टार्ट होगा एंड आई रिमेम्बर देयर वाज अ टाइम कि एक बार जो है ना कुछ वॉर या कुछ चल रहा था तो 1 वीक के लिए हमारा जो इंटरनेट बंद हो चुका था
Yeah.
एंड वी ऑल कजिन्स मेट टुगेदर एंड हम लोग जब पूरा दिन मिलते थे गेम्स खेलते थे ग्राउंड में जाते थे गेम्स खेलते थे तो फिर और दूसरे भी उसी सोसाइटी में थे बच्चे तो वो सब एंड दूसरे बड़े भी थे तो वो सब आपस में बात करने लगे कि हाँ ये बच्चा अच्छा है ये अंकल अच्छे हैं आज पता चला उनके बारे में फनी मोमेंट्स थे काफी अच्छा मोमेंट्स था तो यस कि ऐसे मोमेंट्स भी होने चाहिए कि जब हम लोग जो है मिल रहे हैं गेम्स खेलना चाहिए फैमिली गेम्स है बोर्ड गेम्स है वी कैन प्ले बोर्ड गेम्स आल्सो एंड ऑल्सो अकॉर्डिंग टू यू कि एक ऐसा और कोई सिंपल या पावरफुल प्रैक्टिस आप बता सकते हैं वेयर पेरेंट्स कैन फॉलो टू रेज इमोशनली हेल्दी चिल्ड्रन बिकॉज आजकल मैंने ये भी बहुत देखा है शुड नॉट से कि चिल्ड्रन जो आजकल बहुत जल्दी सुसाइड कर रहे हैं दे आर नॉट रेजिलियंट आई कैन से दे हैव द रेजिलियंट पावर बट कहीं ना कहीं वो मिस हो रहा है एंड पेशेंस नहीं है ड्यू टू द डिजिटल एज ऑल्सो तो फिर एनी सिंपल आइडियाज एनी सिंपल टिप वुड यू लाइक टू सजेस्ट
Am I audible?
yes now you're
Yes, like I would like to give a very short message for this, because this is a very, again, like one of the most growing thing in our society, which is like, because of social media, we come to know every other day that someone somewhere has committed suicide. And children, adult, like for anyone it is. So the first thing that we can teach our children are like emotionally very healthy. It's not that they born with some of the other, but yes, the environment that they stay in plays a very vital role. Early days, how they are spending their early days, that is very important. And the third thing is like, emotional regulation, how they regulate their own emotions. There can be, as I told, like, every human being goes through all forms of emotion: sadness, happiness, excitement, at the same time, like, getting completely low throughout the day. Every emotions they face. So we have to teach them that feeling that emotion is okay. You are feeling, you can acknowledge that emotion, you can level what you are feeling, you can process, and then express. Do not act upon it. That's There is a difference between like, what we how we are behaving and emotions. Usually, like in CBT, we are taught like thoughts, emotions, and behavior, because our thoughts decide our emotions, and our emotions somewhere decide how we are behaving or reacting or responding to it. So instead of jumping to the conclusion, instead of like reacting on whatever we are feeling and acting upon it, we can just take a pause, regulate our emotions, shut down for that moment, and or like, hold on with that emotion, and sit down with that emotion for some time until the rage or the impulsivity that we are having within ourselves come down. We can go to our safest point, our parents, our friends, there are teachers, there are health workers, anyone. We can reach out, we can express what we are exactly feeling. And instead of like, making it even bigger by prioritizing, by paying so much of attention to the negative things that is happening, we can just regulate and then properly express that this was this thing which did not go well for me, and I wish I need to solve this, I need to work upon this so that I don't land up with the same thought again later. So this is what is very important, and having someone beside who can navigate that person through that time, that is also very important. And sometimes parents can do co-regulation, like, if I am having stress also, if my child, so co-regulation is something where we are teaching the child, how to, you are feeling stress, you are feeling angry, that emotion is okay, but you throwing things is not okay.
Correct.
Express, communicate what made you feel that, how did you feel, and what is something that triggered that feeling. Talk about it, express that this happened, that's where I felt this. Acting upon
Yeah,
it is not. So that is where we are teaching from the very childhood that, you cannot, behavior is not accepted, reactive behavior is not accepted, but yes, whatever you are feeling, we are acknowledging and we are validating. That is
right.
very important.
करेक्ट एंड यस आपने जैसे बताया कि बिहेवियर हमें जो है उनको अवेयरनेस भी देना है प्लस वी हैव टू टीच देम दैट दिस इज राइट एंड दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट यू हैव टू एक्ट अकॉर्डिंगली तो वो क्लैरिटी उनको
Yes.
जब तक नहीं मिलेगा तब तक उन्हें पता नहीं चलेगा कि व्हाट इज राइट थिंग दे आर डूइंग या फिर क्या गलत कर रहे हैं क्या सही कर रहे हैं.
Huh.
And we have come to the end of the session. It is really wonderful, insightful session. So finally, I would like to ask you if you could share one key message about building healthy relationships, both romantic and within families. So what would it be?
Okay. When we are talking about a relationship as a whole in a family, there are many bonds: sister, brother, like, mother, father, everything, daughter. So when we are talking about relationships, so one thing that is like, there has to be mutual respect, and there has to be like, that safe space for that individual, for each and every individual in the family to be how they are, like who they are. Obviously not the unhealthy part, if a family wishes, no, like they can like, manage, or like they can teach the person how this is unhealthy for you. And and one more thing which is very important in a relationship when it is about romantic partner is, again I would say, trust, consistency, passion, intimacy. When I talk about intimacy, it is both sexual intimacy as well as emotional intimacy. And we cannot ignore, because both of them has its own importance. And when we are talking about a relationship, which is very important these days, is understanding and emotional maturity, that she is like that, he is like this. So I cannot expect my partner to be like me, or vice versa. So that is what something, no, we are coexisting, but it's the other person cannot totally become like me. And apart from that, if I say like a relationship or relationships within the family is something that, decides the emotional temperature of the house, as well as, very importantly, mental health condition of each and every member. Some feeling low, some feeling very high, some having a lot of anger within themselves, some are feeling unhealthy to express their feeling. So all of this will lead to some or the other mental health issue later on, after 4 years, 5 years. It might lead to anxiety, depression, low self-esteem. So if the home environment is good, even if a person comes like stressful from outside, they can like, express that thing. They can like, once our phone gets drained out of charge, we go and charge it. So this family can become that charging port, whether it is in a relationship or it is in a family as a whole. So again, coming from outside and the home environment is also this, that won't help. And we have to like keep the social media little bit aware, like use it in a better way, and keep it away from our relationship, core relationship, because there are a lot of like, good like new forms of fights or conflicts, like text fighting. There is real fighting. So there is like, passive aggression, where people are posting whatever they are feeling. After a fight, they put a WhatsApp status, they put a Facebook status, so in order to instigate the other person. So these are some kind of passive aggressive behavior. We have to keep our relationship away from social media. We have to have that safe space for each and every member staying there. So this is something. And also being very open about mental health and talking to each other, creating that non-judgmental space within home first. And one more thing is self-awareness. What I need, why am I here? If I know my needs and my wants, I can balance everything. So this would
That
be my
was
message, and it's really something which the like society needs to know. I hope I have like told few things which are like actually important. And yes, this is something very important. We need to pay a little bit more attention to our closed ones who are just beside us.
correct. Thank you so much, Bandita ma'am. It was really wonderful and insightful message, I can say. And as a whole, the whole session was very insightful. I have learned a lot from you, and you are doing wonderful research on this family relationships and parenting, and many more related to the mental health. So you are doing wonderful work, and thank you for giving us so honest आपने बहुत ही ऑनेस्टली रिप्लाईज दिए क्वेश्चंस के एंड पूरा क्लैरिफाई किया विद ऑनेस्टी एंड all with your experiences and researches. So today's conversation reminds us that healthy relationships are not built on perfection, but it is built on awareness, communication, emotional safety, and understanding. So thank you so much once again for your precious time. And
Thank you
perhaps I
so
can
much.
say that
Thank
yes,
you so much for having this platform where you are actually, like, focusing what the society needs to know. And I was like, thank you for having me here. Thank you so much.
it's really my great honor, ma'am. And perhaps
Thank
the greatest thing we can offer ourselves and our loved ones is not just love, but emotionally conscious love. So, friends,
Yes,
those who are watching us and those who will be watching our recording, so thank you so much for being part of this beautiful conversation. Thank you, Nishi sister, for this wonderful comment that it's really a beautiful conversation. And friends, this is Prerna Baswani, founder of Prerna Spreading Inspiration. So, signing off with gratitude and a reminder to keep spreading awareness, kindness, and inspiration. And at the end, I would like to officially announce that tomorrow on the Mother's Day, I am announcing and I am launching Sindhi language podcast and watches tomorrow evening. And if you have felt that this conversation is inspiring and beautiful, please share to others and subscribe our YouTube channel and spread this message so that we can have healthy relationships in our families and surroundings. So thank you so much once again. Keep learning and keep inspiring.
congratulations and thank you so much.
Thank you so much and have a beautiful future ahead and keep inspiring us with your researches and more. आई होप दैट कि बहुत ज़्यादा जो है हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप्स देखने मिलेंगे एंड
Mhm.
बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी अच्छी रिसर्चेस से जो है हमें काफ़ी इंसाइटफुल डिटेल्स मिलेगी एंड नॉलेज मिलेगा आपके रिसर्चेस के थ्रू सो थैंक यू
Thank
सो
you.
मच फॉर बीइंग पार्ट ऑफ अस